You're watching Global Toronto. This is Global News at Noon.
Good afternoon. I'm Carolyn McKenzie. Jeff is away. We begin in Durham region today, where thousands of students are being impacted by a bus driver strike. Our Mark Carcasole is on the ground there with more details. Mark.
Hi, good afternoon, Carolyn. We are here at the First Canada Bowmanville yard, where, as you can see, the school buses here remain parked and unused, and they will remain parked for the foreseeable future. Talks between the company and the union representing drivers broke off shortly before the midnight strike deadline last night, and it's unclear when they will recommence. Just hours after officially walking off the job, school bus drivers with First Student Bowmanville were on the picket line outside the company's bus depot here.
This is an industry in crisis. They can't fulfill their contracts. There's not enough drivers to drive buses. Something has to be done.
The union says they're fighting for wages, not just improvements to what they make, but when they make it.
Right now they're wanting to pay us for just live time, and that is when we have kids on the bus. But some drivers are driving for a half an hour in the morning to get to that first child, and they aren't paying.
I think it's about 12 to 14 hours we do in a week that we don't get paid for.
They say they didn't come to this decision easily. Drivers have been without a contract since last August. They've been in strike position since mid-December. With no progress at the bargaining table, they decided to pull the trigger at midnight.
Please bear with us. We love what we do, but we're tired of being taken advantage of. We want to make sure there's safe, reliable transportation for the children. We've had a lot of support from parents, and we're very thankful for that.
But parents we spoke to say if this strike carries on long, it could pose some problems.
If the strike goes on beyond the end of next week, I don't know, I'd have to call my boss and say I'm either taking the personal time or leave of absence because I work as a crossing guard, so I have to be at my corner to cross other kids. So if I can't cross them if I can't be there, if I can't put him on the bus to be there for his school, then I can't be there to cross kids.
Well, today I am off, but starting tomorrow I'm not. So I have to try and figure out how my child is going to safely get to school and back.
They're not saying how long they're willing to hold out, but the union does plan to fight to match recent successes in nearby jurisdictions.
We were successful in the nearby Durham region, making sure that people got paid for all their time at work. We wanted that here. This is right next door.
Now, this strike affects dozens of schools, not just at the two school boards in Durham region, but also in some of the regions surrounding Durham. For a full list of the schools and school boards affected, you can check out our website at globalnews.ca/Toronto. Back to you, Carolyn.
All right, Mark Carcasole in Bowmanville. Thank you.
Well, there is a strike by school bus drivers in Durham region. It's affecting more than 2,000 students.
Drivers with First Student Transportation walked off the job. CTV's Janice Golding standing by now with the details. Janice, no doubt a difficult morning for a lot of families getting kids to school.
That is definitely the case, Ken. Now, they have been walking the picket line here in Bowmanville since early this morning. First Student bus drivers who say they are not getting paid for all the hours that they're working. Now, First Student Bowmanville actually services about 90 routes and transports close to 5,000 students to and from school every day. The union says drivers only get paid when kids are aboard their buses, but they don't get paid for things like travel time to get to their first pickup or for various other duties. And Unifor says drivers want to be paid for all the hours they're putting in. The bus drivers have been without a contract since August 31st, 2017, and have been in a legal strike position since December the 10th. Talks broke off shortly before the midnight deadline. We spoke to the head of the union and to local parents this morning, and here's what they had to say.
I think our problem here is we have been successful in some locations, the First Student, in the neighboring Whitby-Ajax regions. The consortia, the Durham board, found more money, like many consortias are, to pay people appropriately for the job they're doing. And that's what these drivers want. Just the same thing as the drivers that are working next door to them.
I think they're right to fight for equal wages across Durham region, right? Instead of preferential payment in one area and lower payments here, I think they're valid in their fight.
I think for sure they should be getting paid I don't think it's very fair to have somebody working or expected to be available and not getting paid for it. I think for sure I'm on their side on that.
So as you've heard, while people say that it is an inconvenience, they say they support the drivers. Now, drivers say that they are prepared to walk the picket line for as long as it takes if they can get paid for all the hours that they're working and they can get better wages. Reporting live, I'm Janice Golding. Now back to Kenny Michelle.
Thank you, Janice.